Сайн байцгаана уу хүн үзэгчтэй. Өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор холбооны Герман улсын Христийн ардчилсан холбоо намын Конрад-Аденауэр-Сангийн суурин төлөөлөгч ноён Даниель Шмюкинг оролцож байна.
Даниель Шмюкинг, Конрад-Аденауэр-Сангийн Монгол дахь суурин төлөөлөгч, тэрээр холбооны бүгд найрамдах Герман улсын Фридрих Шиллерийн нэрэмжит Янагийн их сургуульд улс төрийн ухааны докторийн зэрэгийг хамгаалсан, өмнө нь тус сургуульдаа болон Чех улсын Фалакс их сургуулийн хамтарсан улс төр социологийн магистрийн хөтөлбөрийг дүүргэжээ. 2010-аас 2014 оны 10 дугаар сарыг дуустал холбооны бүгд найрамдах Герман улсын Schmücking мужи улсын Христийн ардчилсан холбоо намын төв хэлтсийн даргаар ажиллаж байсан ба 2015 оны 1 сараас хойш Монгол томилогдсон ажиллаж байна.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
You have been already working about 2.5 years for Mongolia as a representative of the ruling party foundations called Konrad-Adenauэр foundations. Please tell us first about the foundations and what was its role after the war Germany.
So Konrad-Adenauer Foundation is a German political foundation. We nowadays have offices around the world, almost 100. The foundation was developed after the Second World War when Germany tried to introduce democracy, and the politicians in Germany thought that it's a good idea to do political education for the voters. So that was basically the starting point of Konrad-Adenauer Foundation in Germany. Nowadays we do a lot more than just political education, but for the development of the democracy in Germany, I would argue that was a big success, these political foundations, because they really helped to introduce this democratic idea, this democratic thinking into Germany.
See, in Mongolia, though, we have made the revolution to democracy, to market economy almost 30 years ago. Still we are missing very large say volume of voters being not completely understanding the democracy. In particular, it's part of not only free election, but the participation, but the monitoring of elected officials. So what is your thought, being representative of this wonderful foundations in Mongolia? I know many things you do here. What are those, and why is that so in Mongolia?
I would think that political education is important in Mongolia as well. I think the development of the Mongolian democracy is a big success, but there are still things to improve and things to do better. And I think what you mentioned, political participation, is a big issue. Get voters involved, get members of parties involved into decision-making processes. I would argue a democracy is better if more people are involved, if more people have the chance to discuss their ideas, and if they have the chance to make their or bring their ideas into actual political decision making. And
yeah, but however, I would argue that Mongolians are heavily participating in the political affairs of the country.
yeah.
The turners, voters turn around, turning was about plus 60 plus. It was 90 plus percent. And now even so much politically polarized the society that even in a family, a husband and wife are fighting and etc. So I cannot say there is a lack of political enthusiasm. But when actually it comes to the value of democracy, still we are missing something. And what is it to do with our political parties, also their functions, or how do you see that?
Let's say the first step of political participation is going to an election to give your vote, but this is the lowest level. being more active means going to demonstrations, becoming a member of a party, discussed there. And in my last 2.5 years here in Mongolia, I talked a lot with young, political interested people. And they are sometimes engaged in civil society. They are really interested in politics and they want to do something. But what I see is that there is a gap between the political parties and the young, educated people who want to change the country. And I think that the political parties can benefit if they are more open to the younger generation and to their ideas. I think.
What is the reason they are not involved with that? They are trying to recruit most the best and brightest people, young people, and they are becoming political members, party members, then soon to be in a hierarchy, certain head of the certain departments, etc. Then sometimes, surprisingly, quite young man is becoming a minister just because he has a lot of money.
Yes, but the money shouldn't be the key factor.
So how to stop that factor, which is really a huge white elephant in the room in this country?
Yeah, it is. I agree. I think you have to discuss about the financing of parties. At the moment, there is more or less just one source, and those are wealthy people who donate to parties and are that's why involved into parties. In Germany, we have 3 different sources of funding. Of course, we also have donations, but we have a system of state funding, public funding for political parties, and we have membership fees. So 1/3 of, let's say 1/3 of the money a party in Germany gets is membership fees. And I think there's a lack of this in Mongolia. There are membership fees here, but they are very low, so that everybody can become a member without giving something to the party.
So is it not because in the poor country, like Mongolia, people, they cannot even pay their party membership fee, but still they are becoming party members? Why is that? In Germany, for example, what is your fee for your party, Christian Democratic Union Party?
I cannot say it that easy because it depends on the income, which means people who have a low income, they pay less. People who have a high income pay more. So it's a very sophisticated.
About the average worker, blue collar worker would pay, and the high wealthy people will pay. Just about approximately.
I would argue it starts, or let's say the lowest you have to pay is, for my party, it's €5 per month.
Okay, per month.
And then we have some, let's say, some recommendations. It's for the party members that if they have a certain level of income, they pay more. We also have a system that if you are in a parliament for the party, or if you are a minister of the party, you also have to pay more. Because your political success as a person.
You are a member of the party, even the executive board of the party. Then you became a minister. You're also a cabinet member, because in your country you can do that. Also a parliament member. That guy would pay. How about €1,000?
I don't really know the numbers. It depends, because we also have a federal structure in our party, not just Germany as a whole. Also parties have a federal structure, and it depends on the federal state and the party committee. It's not that you say there's no one answer to this question. It really depends on the village, on the city, on the region.
Would it reach, say, €500 per month?
I think it can be possible, yes.
Possibly. Yeah. Per month. But a fee is per month.
A fee is per month, yes. Membership fees.
I understand your situation. You are, as a federal republic, your structure is, even at the provincial level, federation level, you have own government. So it's one of the interesting federalism of governance you have, and fortunately, which works. So membership fee is per month from members, and all the way, if they have a higher position, they pay more. in many Christian countries. You go, in particular your party based originally from a religion, you go also to your church, right? Do you pay the 10% of your income to your church, or it is voluntarily?
No, if you are a member of a church in Germany, you have to pay, and it's together with your income tax. It will automatically go to the church.
It's the same with the state and the to church, the same level?
It's just how the system works and how the money is collected, I would say. But of course, it goes to the church, the money. So if you are a member, you have to pay here.
Yeah, that's also along with statehood things. I talk about the religion, and it looks like the very moral and the ethics principles of German family are quite based on this Catholic Church, right? Christian church.
Let's say a Christian church, because it's also the story of the CDU. It's called Christian Democratic Union, because it's the union of the two churches in Germany,
Which is?
The Protestant church and the Catholic church. And so also the Christian Democratic Union, let's say the funding of this party, that was the idea to have a party that unites members of both churches.
Now your political party is enjoying very long-term success in power.
Yeah.
How many years continuously are you in power?
At the moment, we reached 12 years in power with Chancellor Angela Merkel, and we have elections now on September 24th. So
there is a big expectation that Angela Merkel will win again.
If you look at the current polls, it looks quite good for the CDU.
My question comes, is it because you are mostly based on the coalition of two largest religions, almost 100% covering all people's belief?
Not anymore. It's getting less. Christian belief is also the Christian churches in Germany, they are losing members. But I think the success of the CDU, especially of Angela Merkel, is because of her decisions and of her modernizing the country. She's successful because she's pragmatic. She brings solutions for the problems of the people in Germany, and that's why she's successful. I think this is the main reason. There's a strong party behind her, but we have a really strong chancellor, and that's why I think she's successful.
Okay, let's talk about another part of the party membership, which turned out in Mongolia is an important part when money and politics are close so much married here in the country without any principles except money. We have this whole, what we have today, problems in Mongolia. So the second issue about the Germany political parties financing is donation. Let's go to donations. So where did the donation comes from? Not only from members, but the other people, right? And how does it work?
Of course, there are donations on one hand of normal people, but also of companies. I think the system we have is very sophisticated. It makes donations transparent. They have to be reported to the German parliament, and it will be published so that everybody can see which company is donating which money to which party. I think this is most important, giving transparency to the system, that people, journalists can see where might be an influence or where not, and so I think it's the main system that it is very transparent.
Yeah, I think here is very important word is this transparency, and you report from which party and how much you receive as political party. What happens if donations is the businesses becoming more people, more dominant? You are receiving money inside of the donation, more business than the people. Or is it any ratio or any regulations?
I think there is no formal regulation. I guess the regulation comes from this active civil society and from journalists. If you are a party which gets less or not so, let's say, more donations from big companies and donations which have a high amount, then there will be some reporting in the press, in the media, and there will come some pressure from the civil society.
Do you recall any cases where your party was accused having, under political influence, more fund from particular companies?
No, as far as I remember, it's always a discussion who donates to which company.
How often you report that donations?
All the donations are reported. They have to be directly reported if they are above a certain amount. So it's.
What is by the way, largest? You can receive any amount of money?
I think so, but I'm not so sure. I think so.
But they report.
Anyway. You have to report, yeah.
Okay, that's because in Mongolia during an election they have certain limits, ridiculously small sum compared with what they actually spend, as you have seen with the last president election, I mean the previous last year elections as well. So donations, they don't have the ceiling, they receive, ultimately reported, right? And it should be open, then the media media makes comments on the sort of things. And also, of course, civic society will raise why this company in that province is raising more, giving money to the social democrat. Because the ruling party, you may have done a particular laws which favor the companies.
And that's why transparency is so important. And you need independent journalists who do the research. You need civil society organizations who do the research.
That's exactly Mongolian need, and I want to talk it separately a lot about media and civic society. Another question about, to just complete our membership issue, the fee issue. It's a public money, budget money comes.
Yes.
1/3 of political party. Public.
It depends on the party because some parties rely more on membership fees, some rely more on donations. So it depends on the party.
Yeah, but however, it depends first of all probably on seats you occupy in the parliament, right?
And no, it relies on the votes you get, the number of votes.
No, votes make seats too.
Yeah, but not necessarily because we have the 5% threshold in the parliament, and if you are a small party and you're not in the parliament, you still get the refund from the state system for the votes you got.
Let's go ahead again. You should have at least 5% of seats.
Yes, we have first of all, we have it's different to Mongolia. We have a proportional voting system.
Okay.
Which means you have to, as a party, you have to be above 5%, and then you are in the parliament.
Okay, you have. Let's go back again for our audience. How many parliament seats?
It also depends because
we federal level.
It depends because we have it's not a fixed number. It's a sophisticated sophisticated electoral system. We have 299 electoral districts, and we have 2 votes. So we call it a personalized proportional system, which means if in general we have 598 seats, but if the votes for the parties is somehow higher than for the candidates, the parliament can become bigger. But this is flexible. It depends on the outcome of
at any given moment, you have 500 plus seats in the parliament.
Yes, it's the minimum number, 598, but
it can be up.
Can be up, yes.
And I saw in this beautiful Reichstag building now, this cupola, a dome, a glass dome, and there is a very good set of sittings, and you can watch how they are sitting up.
It's the system of transparency. It shows that
even who is there, who is not, who is pushing the knob or not. How many members out of those about 600 members you have, SDU?
I don't really know it.
But majority?
Of course, it's the majority. We got over 40% of the votes in the last elections. We almost got an absolute majority in the last elections, which would have been a big success because it just happened once in the German history. And now we are waiting for the upcoming elections.
That once?
It was under Konrad-Adenauer, the first chancellor of.
That's why you have this foundation name.
That's why we have
a success story.
Yeah.
After the war, of course, Germany needed complete reconstruction of political system.
Yes.
The old one not only didn't work, but brought so much trouble to the world and to Germany, first of all, the country. You say, now, how many political parties are there?
You mean in the parliament?
No, in general, in the parliament.
I think there are a lot, but the question is which parties are important. And we say important parties are who have the chance to become or get in the parliament.
So how many of those?
At the moment we have 4 parties in the parliament, but there are 2 more who will have a chance in the September elections to get in the parliament.
Okay, in the parliament. So, and out of those 4, say, major parties, you have majority seats. And you are getting financed from budget 1/3 of your total costs, right? Based on first of votes, seats, and what else? And I mean, is it in the budget, right? From the Ministry of Finance, they calculate for political. I mean, do you know what % of the total budget goes to political parties financing?
No.
Not substantial.
But it's not so much because the budget in Germany is quite big compared to Mongolia.
Of course.
In percentage, I don't have an exact number, but it's not a big. Not a big factor.
All right. So now, in your country, political parties are financed, which is the most problematic issue in this country, which is financed only from one source, no membership fee, but only from wealthy people.
Yeah.
And this gives channel to people to manipulate the power and get them doing laws, giving a favor for these people. Unfortunately, this is the source of corruption and I think source of instability of Mongolian government system. That's what my observations. And so now we talked about the budget of the political party. Now issue is, you said it's all being audited. Who is auditing political parties?
First of all, the media, I would argue, and I guess the media in Germany is independent and still has a high quality.
But you have still Deutsche Welle, those who is financed
but this is just for foreign countries. Deutsche Welle is not active in Germany. It's just for.
I see. Deutsche Welle is I must saw it in English somehow. Okay, this is if we are now planning to make a new English-speaking channel called World Mongolia, for example. This sort of things, right? Financed from budget. Yeah,
but this is not the point. The big factor is that we also have a public broadcasting system in Germany, which is not coming from the state budget, which is important because you have to limit political influence on the media. And so our public
who is financing public?
It's a fee. It's collected from every household in Germany, but it's not from the state budget. It's important because
I understand, but
not a politician can call the director of the public broadcasting and to say, "Do this, I cut your budget."
How the system here, so-called public radio TV, is fake. It is not only receiving fee from every family, but also from the budget.
Yes.
And they play the music that the government is ordering.
Yes.
In spite of all this different outside forum people, but basically we are here.
Yeah, and that's what I say. It's problematic if the public media is not independent from political decisions. So the idea should always be independency of media. That is important.
Just every time I wonder, I'm always astonished with the way your media brings issues. Sometimes mercilessly killing politicians who is involved in corruption. I remember a minister of education either was driving on car somewhere and it was caught by media and it is resigned. You know, one minister was also people claim him for plagiarizing certain texts in his PhD work. Then he's resigned, Minister of Defense, I remember. So these sort of things. I think it's one of the reasons why Germany is so strong, so advanced today.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I think it's in general about strong institutions. It's on the one hand it's the media, but on the other hand it's strong political parties. It's also a strong government. The law system is independent. So it's a mix of everything, but you need strong institutions and you need time to develop them.
Do your politicians own media channel, TV, newspaper?
German politicians are not that rich in general, so they in general, normal people, normal politicians, they don't own.
Poor guys, they should learn from Mongolian politicians, you know, to have own channels, TV channel. That's what is the missing pillar of Mongolian democracy. That is causing so much problem. And the most importantly, that stops us to go out from this poverty. And your foundation has been doing a lot for process of democracy in Mongolia. In Mongolia is developed, is advanced. Please tell us what are you doing?
It's, let's say, I already mentioned it, it's a success story, the Mongolian democracy. I will always argue like this. But there is need for improvement, and it's what I mentioned. It's, let's say, the media system could be better, could be less involved in politics and less dependent on big donations. That's why we try to educate here young journalists, for example. Another thing is that the civil society is I would say it's active in Mongolia, but it's not really connected. So that's why we try to connect civil society organizations to build a network for democracy in this country. But we also think that political parties should improve, that they have a democracy within the party, that they have good structures, that they have active members, and so that's why we also work together with political parties on this issue.
Yeah, let's go back again. You said about training of young journalists. And you have been pointing out about media and civil society, importance of them being independent, being informed first, then demanding the governance to be transparent. But however, as you know, media is owned by politicians. Again, wealthy people who donate money to political parties. If they are not minister or parliament member, then they actively donate, and they are expecting certain return on that, and they receive it in the form of positions for somebody, in the form of concessions, contracts. So, and media does not report on that. If they report, they pay for shutting them down, shutting their mouth, and they do.
Yeah.
So how do you see the exit from the situation?
I guess there are, let's say, there are a lot of solutions I have in my mind. First, I think that this question of the public broadcasting should be solved. I mean, it should be financed in a way that they can do their job, but it shouldn't come out of the state budget, that not the parliament or the politicians in the parliament have this influence on the director of this public broadcasting. I would also argue that maybe all the TV channels are owned by some politicians here in Mongolia, but Facebook is not. So, which gives a lot of opportunity to broadcast your ideas, to publish. Some civil society actors here in Mongolia, they have a huge outreach on social media, and that is important. So you can bring out your voice. And if you look back at the last presidential elections, and if you look at the white votes, you see that it was enough, a social media campaign for a few weeks without any money to activate almost 100,000 voters.
Yes, almost 8%.
So, which is amazing, and which shows that democracy is working here. If the civil society or if voters are not happy, they have the chance to change something.
Daniel, you know, because you are a good friend of Mongolian democracy, you are doing a wonderful job. Now a lot of people now becoming familiar. And in spite of this media grayness, many journalists now, that's why I have been asking all these questions from you, as you are the only person who can give that right information on these issues. And unfortunately, time is gone, and of course, we see your support in Democratic Congress. You see. I was in one of them recently, and a lot of young journalists getting trained. So please do what you do in Mongolia, which is important. And you are a part of that German progress, prosperity in here, and we want to see how you have been achieving, in particular in the countryside, young people, etc. So I would like to hereby to thank you and wish you good success to you and to your team. You have a quite big Mongolian team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. За хүн төлөөлөгчтэй өнөөдөр манай дефакто нэвтрүүлгийн зочноор Германы Христийн ардчилсан холбооны намын Конрад-Аденауэр-Сан байдаг. Түүний Монгол дахь суурин төлөөлөгч доктор Даниель Шмюкинг оролцлоо. Их баярлалаа.